Welcome back to Conscious Living. You know, it can be so easy to complain about what's not right in our lives, whether it's our job, our relationships, our health, our finances, the list goes on and on and on.
So on this episode, we're going to flip the script and focus on what we're grateful for.
What are you grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my spiritual practice. I'm grateful for you. But it's not always easy to do that. Sometimes it's tough to be mindful of your blessings when you're faced with challenges. So to help us practice that, we are sitting down with Reverend Michael Beckwith, who shares tips on cultivating gratitude no matter what the circumstances.
That's such an important skill. And for those of us who are blessed enough to have an investment portfolio, sustainable business expert David Levine is here to provide insights on how we can become more conscious investors.
And to help us guys appreciate and be more proactive with the health we do have, chiropractic physician Dr. Ali is in the house to teach us how to bring our health into better alignment.
That's a good thing. And finally, it's harvest time, and we're flying you to Maui to experience delicious farm-to-table cuisine that'll match any Thanksgiving feast. It's a fun show coming up right here on Conscious Living.
Bianca sat down with Agape founder Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith. Dr. Beckwith is an internationally acclaimed visionary respected by spiritual leaders worldwide, including the Dalai Lama. He shared his philosophy on the true meaning of gratitude.
We don't need a national day to give thanks, particularly when it's around mythic things of pilgrims and Native Americans and the tragedy that came out of that meeting. But the idea that people are stopping and giving thanks is very powerful, it's very wonderful. We take that energy, it's called high tide. When you're in high tide, all boats float in high tide. So when you have millions of people in a nation being grateful, there's a certain vibration that's in the air that we can now use to go deeper into our practice of God and the presence and love.
And we all sort of get the theory of the law of attraction. Oh, I get it, okay, give love, you get love. But doing that every day, when you're faced with people that you don't like, when you're dealing with your boss, when you're dealing with your husband, and all of the situations that sort of take you out of your center, how do you actually apply it?
It's always available, absolutely. But people, as you indicated, are not tapping into it. They're externally focused. So if you become internally focused and hold the space of gratitude, then guess what? The externals change. Gratitude is a state of consciousness. It's a state of mind where an individual is in high appreciation and thankfulness. You can be grateful and thankful for a particular thing, or you can just ultimately, when you mature, you're just in the consciousness of gratitude regardless of the condition. Now, when an individual matures to that level, conditions bend around that vibration. So it is simultaneously a spiritual practice and it is a law of manifestation. So when people begin to have a practice of being grateful and thankful and appreciative for their life and the people in it and the events that are going on, more things to be grateful begins to flow through them. You want to practice gratitude, thanksgiving, and appreciation, even when you don't feel like it. Now, when you don't feel like it and you allow for that emotion to carry you down the wrong track, that's called emotional reasoning. It means you've allowed the emotions to drive your actions, which means you've given up your power. So you wake up every single day and you ask, how can I practice this? How can I practice gratitude? How can I practice forgiveness? How can I practice generosity? And then the universe will answer that question and keep bringing in front of you ways of practicing it. Sometimes the people in front of you that are getting on your nerves is you calling forth a deeper understanding of patience and love and compassion and kindness that you wouldn't get if that individual wasn't in front of you. You wouldn't, it's like going into a weight room. This theory is I can go over there and lift up that weight. Theoretically, I can do 15 curls, but it's not going to put any density on my muscles or make me any healthier. The practice is I go pick it up and I do it. So theory, I want to be in gratitude, I want to be in forgiveness, I want to be in love. So this person shows up. Theoretically, I should forgive them. Theoretically, I should practice love and kindness and patience. If I don't do it, I'm not developing the skillful means, and I'm not developing the spiritual muscle. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful every time. Doesn't mean you're not going to stumble along the way, but you're going to be falling forward. Whereas if you don't do anything, you're falling backwards.
How do we sort of bring that into very practical things that people can do just every day?
Very simple. You begin to count your blessings. Right now, a lot of people, they don't count their blessings. They count the obstacles. They count the obstructions. They count and begin to make strategies as to how they're going to solve certain external problems. But if you count your blessings first, and as that becomes a habit, you begin to notice more and more blessings that heretofore you weren't even aware of. So what happens is your mind becomes a blessing field rather than a minefield of negativity. And when you become a blessing field, which is a strategy, when you become a blessing field, there's much more power you have access to. That is very simple. You don't need to be a genius to begin to count blessings. But once it begins to be a habit, your life changes in a very affirmative and wonderful way.
It's now Movember, when men across the world are growing their mustaches and beards to bring awareness to men's health, which unfortunately is all too often something that most men don't really think about much. So today we have chiropractic physician Dr. Ali in the house to teach us how we can be more proactive with our health and to get our health into better alignment.
Why not?
Why not? Dr. Ali, good to see you.
Great to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks
So
for
tell
having
me about chiropractic. What is it, just briefly?
Very small nutshell. Chiropractic is a holistic approach in helping the body become more functional and addressing all musculoskeletal and joint issues, and hence allowing the body to function better without pain, without any kind of diseases. And it's been something that's been around for quite some time now, and the Western society is understanding it better, and that's what we do.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you know, I've gotten many chiropractic adjustments. What benefit does it actually do my total body and my total health system? And you know what? Actually, since we have a table here, should we just do a demo?
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
Actually, I'm going to adjust your neck, which is the most feared part of the body. Everybody thinks that you're going to break the neck and all that good stuff. But when you're adjusting the body, what happens is you're allowing for the nerve conduction to transfer head to toe much easier, much better, especially with the chiropractic adjustment. If there's any kind of restriction in any kind of segment, when you correct that, then you're allowing for the neuropath to just open up and for the body to function a whole lot better.
Yeah, I heard there's something like 1 billion miles or something like that of nerves just on the spine alone. Is that accurate, or just hundreds of millions of miles of nerves?
Let's put it that way. Sure, why not?
Yes.
Yes. With the cells and the neurons and everything that are just firing and functioning in the body, just millions and millions. So in terms of the technicality and the numbers, I do not necessarily want to.
I may have to fact check that.
You're going to fact check that. Yes, absolutely. But if you don't mind, if I can put my
hand
on
no, please.
Sure. So by adjusting the cervical, especially relating that to men's health.
Woo!
There you go.
Oh, that was nice.
Fantastic, yes.
Oh,
so
boy.
Now, I'm going to bring you out here. See how much looser you are?
Yeah, so much looser.
Yes. So on this side, there we go.
Wow. Perfect. It's like all you had to do was just move it and already.
Move it, exactly. So now your body, by going through that,
it feels like my body just feels electric, like you just lit it up.
So we are activating the parasympathetic system, which is the system responsible for rest and relaxation of the body. And we can activate it in so many different other ways as well, by meditation, yoga, hot baths, exercise, and sleeping. And but in terms of putting everything together, that's how we want to create the ultimate health.
Interesting. And, so yes. Now, one of the things we talked about before was you talked about the adrenal system.
Absolutely.
And obviously, you know, men typically we like to be, at least for me, I like to be up. I don't drink coffee anymore, but I do green tea or yerba mates. What's the concern that we should have as men about our adrenals, and that being an area of we should pay attention to?
Well, adrenal glands are in charge of producing adrenaline, which is the hormone responsible for activating the body to just run and fight. Hence, we have the fight and flight response.
Right.
And in doing so, when they're activated, the body goes through systemic stress response, which is not healthy for the body, but it's a survival mechanism. In the past, we had to run away from predators.
Right.
And, you hear a car, coming at you. That's the activation of the sympathetic system. So in order to deactivate that, to restore the health, as I mentioned, chiropractic adjustment is one of them. Yoga, hot bath, and all that good stuff as well. And all of these need to be combined. Another technique that I apply is acupressure.
Acupressure?
Pressure, yes.
So how does that work?
The way it works is you locate where adrenal glands are placed in the body. There are two small glands set on top of the kidneys. Easier accessible in the back, but they're protected by the rib cage. So the way we approach it is, if I were to pull up your shirt, I know where your belly button is, but some people are not comfortable with that. So I'll ask you to
I'm quite modest.
I figured as much. If you look at your belly button for me, please. There we go.
There it is.
So approximately, now go ahead and relax.
Okay.
What you want to do is we're going to move up about an inch towards the head.
Okay.
And about an inch to the other side.
Okay.
Left and right. And gently push down. You can do it at home. There's no necessarily any contraindication or any problem with doing that. Exactly. So as I'm pushing down, I'm not pushing anything directly onto adrenal glands because there are a bunch of layers of muscle and everything sitting on top of it. But just like the outside muscles that when you get massages, you get relaxed, the internal organs are also made out of muscles, but different kinds of muscles. But they also undergo a lot of stress on a daily basis. So right now, are you feeling as tender as you did initially?
It's actually gone down.
Exactly. As in it's going away, you want to hold it anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute.
So this is something I can do at home?
Absolutely, you can do it on your own.
An inch up and an inch over from the belly button.
Side, yes. And then we go to the other side now.
Because I have two adrenals.
You have two adrenal glands, exactly. And so
that
now
one's sore.
That one's sore right now, yes. So you want to breathe regularly. One of the advantages of having a practitioner doing this is that my fingers are not hurting, so I can put a little bit more pressure than you can tolerate.
Right.
Whereas if you were to do it on your own, the moment you feel the pain, you're not going to necessarily go past that threshold. And you're like, oh, what am I doing with myself? You're not. You're just stressing. So right now, you should be feeling a little bit less.
Yeah, definitely
Absolutely.
less.
And you want to hold that for 30 seconds to a minute or so. And deep breathing and everything. And when you're done, just close your eyes, put your hands on the side, and just you can continue with deep relaxation. And that's another way of, And
so that's actually gonna. I guess what I feel like you're saying is that what we're doing here is that we're taking stress off the body.
Absolutely.
And by taking stress off the body, we're actually allowing the immune system to have more capacity.
And function better, just like a car. Since we're talking about men, most men enjoy their cars.
Right.
So the more you use your car at any level, you also want to maintain it, and in maintaining the car, there's not just one thing that you do to it, right?
Right.
Check your tires, put oil in it, gas in it,
you
change
got to
all
take
that
care of
stuff.
the car.
So every single thing that you do to your body in order to be well is exactly those little things that you do to your car to get better. So if your body is that, then doing yoga is like changing the oil.
Right.
Doing the chiropractic adjustment is putting premium gas in it.
And by having a stronger immune system that has less stress on it, we can fight disease and make sure that our body's functioning better. So that's sort of the key. We give the body more to deal with disease in the world. Well, Dr. Ali, this has been great. I really appreciate it. You might probably see me in a day or two
I would love to see you in a day
to
or
get
two.
another adjustment. This has been
Fantastic.
awesome. Stay tuned. Up next, sustainable business expert David Levine tells us how we can be more mindful with our financial portfolio.
For those of us who have an investment portfolio, it can be challenging to have our investments match our values, especially when our retirement and family's financial well-being are on the line. So today we have sustainable business expert David Levine here to share with us how we can make our money work for us and for the good of the planet. David, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Pleasure to be here.
Happy to have you here all the way from your many travels around the world.
Yes.
So tell us about the American Sustainable Business Council. You are the co-founder and CEO. What is the work that ASBC is doing right now?
Well, what we've understood is that the voice and the power of business is ever so important when it comes to looking at the key issues at our time and the policies that determine the larger systems. So back in 2009, we actually formed the American Sustainable Business Council as a network of business organizations and companies that would work together, aggregate their voice and power to really advance what we call a sustainable economy, which is really the belief that you can find a balance between economic well-being, in other words, creating profit for your business, as well as providing social and environmental benefit. There's sort of been this false idea that you have to choose between one and the other. And what there are so many more businesses now that have been proving that you can take care of your community, you can take care of the workers that are your employees, you can make sure you protect the environment, and you can actually do well as a business.
And make a profit.
And make a profit, exactly. So now we're representing over 250,000 businesses across the country, across sectors, across geographies, different sizes of businesses, and all of them are working with us to really advance the kind of both market shifts and policies to create what we're calling the sustainable economy.
That's wonderful, and it's important for us as conscious consumers to connect to that, particularly when we're making investments. There's this whole sort of divestment movement happening, and how can consumers sort of be a part of that and make sure that their money is going where their values rest?
That's right, and I think climate change is the key issue of our time, and each individual has the ability to impact, on the issue, both in terms of what they do in their own home, in their workplace, in terms of the energy that they use, but also in terms of, for today's purpose, really their investment portfolio. So actually, one is even just voting with your dollars in the sense of choosing the companies that are actually using renewable energy, not reliant upon fossil fuels or toxic chemicals and the like. So really understanding which type of companies are you making your purchases from. But in addition to that, the investment dollars that you might have can be invested smartly. So whether you're looking at equities, your stocks, or you're looking at bonds, there are now portfolios that you could look at that are fossil free. So what we're looking at is being able to sort of remove your money from supporting the fossil fuel corporations and industries, but not saying I'm just pulling out. What we're saying is we're actually reinvesting that, right? So that's the investment part of divest, invest. And the idea now is that there are so many different companies and opportunities to invest. So whether it's really to address climate change by investing in wind energy companies or solar energy companies or even energy efficiency enterprises, that these are growing multifold over the last number of years, both the growth of companies that pre-existed, but also the growth of new companies. And so what you can do is go to your investment advisor, if you have one, and ask he or she to be able to find you the kinds of investments that match your values and that help us address climate change at the same time.
Is that pretty easy to do? I mean, it's pretty available now, much more than it was even 5 years ago.
Certainly so. I mean, certainly, at the American Sustainable Business website, there are a number of investment firms that are members of ours that you can begin to take a look and compare it to your own. We could begin to take a look at the set of criteria that would help you understand that I need to move my money out of these companies that are creating this greater damage because climate change is the problem that's going to impact our health and well-being, our community's well-being, the environment in the larger frame, but also it's impacting businesses at such a large scale. Over 87% in polling that the American Sustainable Business Council did of small businesses, over 87% believe that they're going to be impacted by climate change. This is not going to be good for the long-term health and well-being of our economy, and therefore the well-being of all of our families and your families as well. So therein lies the opportunity. But in addition, you have, if we begin to look at adding all those investments together, then we begin to understand that you could have a greater influence than just the individual dollars that you're investing alone.
Collectively, yeah.
Exactly. So the other ways to look at this is municipalities, so governments of all different scales are looking at where they invest. So they have pension funds, or you might belong to a union. The unions have a pension fund, or the universities have their endowments, right? Or so institutions from universities to governments to unions and the like have the ability for you to, if you're a member, if you're involved, to go to them and say, listen, we care about this. We want you to move those dollars over to more of a sound investment that's going to protect our future, which means moving out of fossil fuels and moving into renewables. Or you can expand your portfolio even further. For today's purposes, we're looking at divest, invest in relation to climate change, but you could look at moving out of hazardous chemicals to safer chemicals, moving into investing in local economies as opposed to large multinational corporations. So there's a lot of ways that you could use your funds in order to influence the kind of change that really aligns with your values.
Wonderful. Well, it's so exciting to know that there's so many ways to be more conscious consumers with our money. It's such a charged topic for people. So thank you so much, David. Love the work you're doing at ASBC. Look forward to hearing more. And for you guys at home, it's going to be Thanksgiving soon. You're getting ready? Good, because we're heading to Maui for a farm-to-table dinner that's sure to whet your appetite. Don't go away. Every day in Hawaii, over 90% of all food and produce consumed is flown in from the mainland. In the wake of climate change and natural disasters, this reliance on out-of-state sources places an undue toll on Hawaii's environment, food security, and economy. But for one restaurant in Maui, their secret to success is locally grown. At the Fairmont Kealani's Fine Dining Gym, Executive Chef Tai-Lun Pang's commitment to sourcing 90% of all ingredients from local farms and honoring the island's multicultural tradition is what keeps them voted Maui's best year after year.
Ko in Hawaiian means sugar, and at this restaurant we feature cultures from the sugar plantation era. There are dishes on the menu from Chinese, Portuguese, Filipino, Korean, Japanese, and kind of a melting pot of the cultures that were here. We try to feature all the food that I think the people from that era brought with them to actually make themselves feel comfortable. We have local farmers that grow produce for us, and we really take pride in featuring that throughout the menu. We think it's very important being on Maui. It's such a small community that it's our part in making sure that we remain sustainable and are able to bring those good local products to our guests. We have beautiful land, and we truly believe that if we don't become stewards of the land and take care of it, it will actually disappear. Things that come out of the ground that you put time and care into, it tastes good. They're good for you. Pretty close to 90% of what we carry in the resort is sourced from local farmers. I truly believe after meeting all the farmers on the island that what they do is not an easy job. When you go visit a farmer like Shansi, Shansi's, I believe, third generation in the business. So he's watched his family struggle. It's really amazing, you know, to see that pride and family and ohana that keeps the island feel going. And we're really proud to be a part of it. It's not just vegetables in a box anymore, you know. My strawberries has a face. It's Shansi's.
Before sampling Ko's award-winning cuisine, I wanted to meet the hands that grew it.
This is my sister, Meredith.
Hi, nice to meet you, Meredith.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You have a good day now.
You too. Very nice place.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a good day. Thank you, guys.
I'm a fourth generation farmer, and I was born and raised right up the road. We work 7 days a week for the most part, but you know, we try to take a vacation here and there. But
7 days,
you know,
no break.
Yeah, when you have a farm, everything's living, everything's growing, everything. Even though it doesn't have hoofs, it still needs tending to every day. And we have a great crew that works with us. So you know, everyone chips in. You know, and my dad was really instrumental in helping us succeed. My dad and my mom. and just teaching us how to do it, and how to have the stamina to keep doing it over all those years.
Go through all those cycles. So these the world famous strawberries that everybody keeps raving about. Look how big these are.
Chef Pang and the Fairmont have been great to us, and he's been like a champion of local produce and just kind of exposing what we grow up here and the flavors that come out of our produce. By putting them in his dishes, he's exposes to worldwide, acknowledgement on our produce. And Chef Pang's always coming up here and helping us out, and it's people like that keep small farms like us sustainable here on the islands. If you don't have local growers of food and produce, then when something bad happens, you can't get food. Right? And by keeping the local farms and growers, in business, it ensures that the island can actually sustain itself. And I think that's what we're all striving for, is to, have 100% locally consumed produce. As far as a business owner, I try to keep majority of my product on just this island. We do ship to the other islands, but as a conscious decision, I made the, not to leave a big footprint. I wanted to just sell everything here and have as much as I could grow here, sold here. And it's been working out, and we've been becoming well known for it. And it's just something, if you look at this island, we have all the different climates. You can grow almost any type of food here. What you're about to eat there is an apple banana. It's grown here locally on the island, and it's really sweet and has a kind of unique flavor to it, but really you get more flavor from this kind of banana than a normal Chiquita banana.
Well, it's so small, but it's really thick, so let me give it a taste. It's good. It has like a tart flavor, but it's sweet. It's probably be good for baking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We also carry several baking varieties as well.
It's good. Want some? After meeting with Chauncey, I was ready to taste Chef Pang's farm-to-table magic with a traditional vegetable curry. The ultra-fresh ingredients that I'd seen in the ground just hours before. Maui onions, pumpkin, zucchini, and squash were the stars of this simple but exquisite dish.
Zucchini, tomatoes, and curry, my favorite.
And for dessert,
this is our flourless, gluten-free red velvet and our apple strawberry mint cantina. Enjoy.
easily one of the best meals I've ever had.
Thanks for watching. That's all for this week. Stay happy and healthy, and we'll see you next time on Conscious Living.
Until then, follow our latest adventures on Instagram and Facebook at Conscious Living TV, or tweet us your comments 24/7 at Conscious TV.
One more time? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Stick to the script, kid.